Welcome to Muskegon Rising, a community service project of the Muskegon Rotary Club. Our purpose is to create lasting positive change. We've been doing that here since 1916. So, let's get started.
Hello, I'm your host, Aaron Mikey, for today's Muskegon Rising podcast. Today I'm here with Bill O'Brien, the superintendent of Mona Shores Public Schools. Welcome, Bill.
Thanks for having me, Aaron. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to our time together.
Absolutely. Way to wrap up a day. And so let's talk a little bit about your upcoming millage, the 2025 millage. What does that intend to address at your schools?
Yeah. So May 6, 2025 is a big day for us, obviously. Going out to the voters, asking them really just to maintain our current millage rate of 6.55 mils, continue paying that same millage rate. So we refer to it as a 0 mil net increase, really kind of a gift to the community that we can and then invest in our schools and really think about the next 40 to 50 years in those schools. So this millage is really focused on our secondary schools. We had in 2018, we had another opportunity just like this, and we called that an elementary focused millage at that point, and we updated all 4 of our elementaries to look like brand new state-of-the-art elementaries.
That's awesome. And they look spectacular driving by them. They probably some of the best facilities in the district right now. So can you outline some of the proposed projects that are included in this millage and how they'll benefit the students and their learning environment?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we like to say is that we want our facilities to reflect and to look like what the instruction and the learning that's going on inside represent. And so we know that what's going on in the classrooms is phenomenal. And so how do we make sure that our students have facilities that match that? And thinking about the middle school and high school, their original buildings, this last go around, we were able to tackle about half of the middle school. So we have a little over half of the middle school left to address. And so we have original foundations, original windows, original doors. We were able to update most of the electrical with the 2018 bond, but there's a lot of work left to be done. And then finishing the middle school jumps us into the high school. The high school has original windows, original doors, original plumbing, original electrical. If you've been to the high school, you've seen some of the original tile work in the bathrooms and fixtures. And, you think about a house, you don't often get 60, 70 years out of those things. And we're talking 1965 for a lot of the high school infrastructure. And so for us, it's time to take care of those things. We've been really good stewards of the community's money, making these things last probably beyond their lifespan in some instances. And now we have an opportunity to tackle that without asking for a tax increase.
You make such a great point, 60 plus years. I say this all the time. I think our public schools do too good of a job of keeping those facilities looking amazing, even though they're so dated and not keeping up potentially with what's expected from the students and the teachers and the quality in the classrooms. So how is the district engaged with the community to gather some input on these projects and really to ensure transparency in the community?
Yeah. 2014, we started on this adventure, I'll call it, knowing it was kind of a 20-year plan that we were going to take our dated facilities and completely overhaul all of them without asking the community to increase the tax levy. And so we have a staggered plan that gets us we've actually got about a 40, 50-year plan that we can continue to do that without asking for increases. But that is really the main goal. And so you start that in 2014, 2015. 2018, then we were able to, like as we said, tackle the elementaries. And then this current, assuming this passes in May, would take us through 2034. And so when you think about a decade from now, we'd be wrapping up some of that work, and I'll have a little less hair, and most of it will be pretty gray, I imagine, by that point. But we'll have accomplished that goal of putting our facilities in a place that for the next 30, 40, 50 years they can be maintained with just maintaining the current millage rate.
That's really amazing. A 50-year plan to make sure that when you're retired most of your team will likely be retired, that the district is in a great place for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to give credit to our community. This community's done an incredible job of not only maintaining, whether it's our City of Roosevelt Park, City of Norton Shores, our partnerships with Norton Shores Police and Roosevelt Park Police Department. All those partnerships create the community that we're in and allow us to have this opportunity for our schools. And so it's certainly not something the schools have done alone. It's our community. And that's one of the reasons the mantra for this millage is our kids, our community, because that is continuing to make this the premier destination for people when they want to move to the west side of the state.
I love it from an economic development standpoint. Good schools attract families. They want to move into this area. What are the estimated costs of this millage, and how will it impact taxpayers?
Yeah, so this will generate $80 million. You and I, both taxpayers in Norton Shores here, will pay the same that we're currently paying. So 6.55 mils is what we currently pay on our tax every single year, and with support in May, we would continue to pay 6.55 mils. So again, back to that 0 mil net increase, generates $80 million that we can tackle some pretty important stuff. It's not bright, shiny stuff. You won't drive by and see that, oh man, the electrical panel and the electrical wires and the plumbing is all updated. But if one of those things fails, you sure would feel it if you're associated with anyone inside our schools. And so, single pane windows were all the trend in the 60s. And so we've still got single pane windows around our buildings, and doors that have lasted 60 years and those kind of things that, because our operations team does such a great job, but the time is here. And so for us to be able to go to the community and say, yeah, here it is, 6.55 today, 6.55 tomorrow, and we can take care of the facility needs.
Absolutely. And really, it's the bones of the building that you're fixing. And that has to be done. It's not the pretty. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about the roof until it doesn't work anymore, right?
Right. Yeah, we'd love to build a, giant, beautiful, brand new school, but we have a phenomenal structure that we're in right now, and we just need to take care of it.
So 0 increase. I love to hear that, not just as a taxpayer, but I'm sure the whole community loves to see that 0 increase in their tax base. So talk a little bit about the educational excellence and faculty development and how this millage will help support that.
We've been a leader in terms of integrating technology into our classrooms, ensuring that our kids are, getting the best opportunities in the world of the trades, or, Business Professionals of America, or, broadcasting classes, those kind of things, and then just your basics also. But our high school classrooms still have projectors in them, and those projectors are, it's antiquated technology at this point, right? Our kids are moving much faster in a technological world than we are. And so we have to make sure our classrooms are equipped with the things that they're going to be using in the world of work when they leave us. And that's especially important at our high school and middle school. And so we are focused on not only updating our classrooms in terms of technology, but updating our computer labs with equipment that kids will see in the field when they leave us to go to the world of work. Updating our trades academies, both at the middle school and the high school, so that kids have opportunity and exposure to, whether it's woodworking or it's, learning a trade like oil changes and working on auto mechanic stuff. Drawing in AutoCAD and turning that into a real life project. So all of those pieces are parts of what we're planning to update with this opportunity.
Awesome. And I misspoke. I said faculty. I meant facility. So Thank you for adjusting with that. And,
you're good. Our faculty is pretty amazing too. I could talk all day about them too.
What are the consequences for students in the district if this millage does not pass?
Yeah, the structure of school funding in the state of Michigan really plays a factor in that. We get a per student foundation allowance each year. That's to address their learning needs. It's not to address facility needs. And so those facility needs will go unmet. There will be single pane windows still. We won't have the revenue to replace the things that need to be replaced. The structural setup of the state of Michigan is local millages support facility needs at local districts. And, that's why we say strong schools equal strong communities. It's because of community support that strong schools exist and vice versa.
Huge consequences to the future if it doesn't pass. I appreciate knowing those consequences. If you could describe the current conditions a little bit you have, but really dive into the conditions that these students are learning in right now and what the faculty are persisting through, and how this, you've talked a little bit about how the bond will address it, but really hit home. I don't go into classrooms, right? I shouldn't say that. I go to parent-teacher conferences, but I don't think most voters walk through the schools other than to maybe go watch an athletic event. So talk about that.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing that impacts students and staff on a daily basis is the HVAC systems. You think about the comfort level of heat and or cooling. These are decades-old systems that are extremely inefficient, extremely unreliable, and students have to endure that. Not to mention they're occasionally very noisy. They quit on us at times, and so we've done a really good job of keeping them up to speed. But you know how technology has advanced in that world as well, right? HVAC is it's a master control at a building level that controls every single classroom. Well, now that system's what we've been able to put in at the elementary buildings is controlled at the classroom level, and so you can have adjustments in heating and cooling just in a specific classroom. So kindergarten classroom might not need to be as hot as a senior's classroom, or those kind of things. So it's really allowing us to tailor the learning environment to the kids that are in the classroom versus everyone gets heat on and it's just going to blow. And it's the inefficiency of that is really what we're excited about, and then the ability to tailor to individual student needs at that point.
Makes sense. If you're in a computer lab or you have 25 students in a classroom and you need air conditioning, or it's an 80-degree day in September, you need to make sure that classroom can be comfortable for learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about where community members can go to find out more information about this millage.
Yeah. So we'll have our website is up and running. It's wonashores.net/May 2025. So that's a first step. There's information that will be going out in about 3 weeks to roughly 16,000 households within our community. So that'll give them at least a taste of some information. And then we're going to have community forums and community input sessions, kind of like we've done with previous opportunities. In 2018, when we went out for that one, we had thousands of pieces of input from community members. And so we're really still building off from what was generated back then as well. So we're, we like to call it a very community-driven, needs-based slate of work, if you will. We created this master list back then, and we're just continuing to work through that. And there's not really frivolous things. This is stuff that's got to get done, and it's going to secure the future of our buildings.
Do you have the date set for those community forums yet?
We don't have them officially set yet, but we will be sure to blast the community with those as soon as we get them set. For us, it's always about fitting it in, and we have great large spaces, but they get filled up, and so we got to make sure we're putting them at times that we can use them.
Awesome. Our Kids, Our Community. That's a great title. I hadn't heard that before. Give the date again one more time for our listeners.
May 6, 2025.
Awesome. Bill, is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to cover?
Yeah, I think we've hit on most of the important pieces. For us, it's just continuing to remind people to get out and vote. Hard to not get out and support something that secures the future of our community, and that for us is truly what makes this so important.
Absolutely. Our youth are our future, and everything we can invest in them will help them succeed. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Bill, thank you so much for coming in today and talking about this millage proposal. for Mona Shores.
Yeah, I appreciate the time and the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to Muskegon Rising, sponsored by the Muskegon Rotary Club. For more information, please visit muskegonrotary.org. If you think someone is doing something amazing in our community, please email us at muskegonrising@muskegonrotary.org.